Peace, family. Come on in. Alito, how y'all doing tonight? I'm gonna make this video. This ain't gonna be too long of a video, but I want to inform the family of where the transhumanistic Joe Biden's administration is headed. So let me share a little music with y'all. This one's called Quack, Quack, Quack. Peace, my sister Yolanda Irvin.
Oh, you still smell so sweet. You know, I never told you this, but I never had a woman like you. And sometimes in a man's life, we have to break down our pride. And you just got to tell the woman that you care about. I was wrong. And I miss you. And I want you to come back home. Took me some time to figure it out. Just what it's all about. Don't miss your water till the well is dry. Now all I do is cry, cry, cry. All I do is cry, baby.
Peace, brother Will.
'Cause I missed you so. All I do is cry, baby.
Peace, Nakia Davis. Shalom.
'Cause I need you so. To a man. Since you've been gone, I did a lot of soul searching.
Let me know what y'all think about that family, that track.
You give me another chance.
The one if you like, two if not so.
All I do is cry, 'cause I miss you so. All I do is cry, baby.
What y'all think, family? Let me know something.
'Cause I miss you so.
That's Cry, Cry, Cry. That's my record. All right.
beautiful black
All right, I got one more.
I want y'all to go back to the days and reminisce. The days when you walk down the street together, holding hands. Brother, sister, and the babies, loving grandmother, grandpa. Everything was tight. Remember those days? Don't you wish you had them back? I know I do.
Back in the day.
Back to the days when we were men. Afros and a black fist. Oh, way back when. The days when you held your woman so tight. Didn't have no time to fuss and fight. Cause then it was black love at first sight.
All right now.
Making sweet love
all through the night. You know what I'm talking about, brother?
You know what I'm talking about, brother?
Right.
Protecting all the ladies and all of your babies. Loving grandma and grandpa. And I don't mean maybe. A sweet kiss on the cheek from your baby girl. Remember when she was your world. Strong brothers.
No sugar tanks.
No sugar tanks.
That's right.
We were men. Oh, that was sure and frank. What have we become? What have we become? What's it gonna take?
Y'all like that? Gotta like that, man.
Me, baby,
you gotta feel that.
to become one.
Huh? Old school vibe.
We're gonna make it. I know we can. Cause it's all in the master's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the days. Ooh. Oh, back to the days. Back to honey, I love you. No matter what your ways. Oh, brothers and sisters. You gotta get it back for the babies. Ooh. Ooh.
All right now, family. All right. That's my cut back in the day. All right. All right. Yes, indeed, brother Philip Clay. Soul music. I still make that. Y'all want a collection of my music? You got PayPal, you got Cash App. Drop $25. I have your music out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be sending some music and books out tomorrow. So if you drop your 25 tonight, yours will be on its way out tomorrow as well. All right, family. $25 gets you a whole collection of my music, 40 original songs of my own. All the lyrics of mine, ain't no Jews got anything to do with it. Ain't no casting couches, no homosexual activity. And ain't nobody been filling on nobody's testicles and holding nobody's scrotums and all of this and that and writing love letters and blowing kisses in the damn studio. It don't go down like that over here. You see what I mean? It's all man, 100% male energy. And my energy, when I sing, I'm talking to my people. Definitely when I talk to the sisters, I'm talking to the sisters, no pale faces, no other nations of women. All right? I'm dealing with us. Okay? Now, we got an issue going on with Joe Biden's administration. For those of you all who know me and have been following me for a while, I wrote a book called The Definition of a Broke Ass. The homosexual, lesbian, transgender, and bestiality assault on the black race. My book, wrote it in 2012. And I've been keeping up and watching this wicked administration go more and more into what I talked about in my book. See, I've said it 1,000 times, and I've been saying it consistently for years, that the pale-faced race is a race of sodomites. Homosexuality runs rampant among pale-faced men. Lesbianism, dykeism runs rampant among pale-faced women. They seem to love the same sex copulation relationships. They push that. You don't see any groups of pale faces out pushing healthy pale face marriages. I don't see any groups of white folks out pushing healthy marriages among anybody. And I'm talking about, when I say healthy marriages, let me just say healthy families. And when I say healthy families, I mean man, woman, and children. Woman, man, and children, how you want to line it up. They don't be out here pushing that, but they're putting millions of dollars and billions of dollars into pushing the LGBT thought process. And there's a hatred of women among pale faces. And I've been talking about this for a long time. The pale face thinks he's a better woman than the woman that's been given to him as his wife, sister, aunt, grandmother, mother. He thinks in his mind he's a better woman than them. He wears their clothing, stockings. He'll wear her dresses. He's flamboyant. He's been making laws. And like in 1969, they had the Jaffe Memorandum, where through Planned Parenthood, which used to be the Negro Project, under Margaret Sanger, a white broad that despised darkies, as they say. And they said they were going to encourage increased homosexuality. Now, how can a Planned Parenthood encourage increased homosexuality? Well, today, in some of the schools, you got first graders. I was talking to a brother in Washington, D.C. today, and he told me that first graders are learning about anal penetration and vaginal sex in the first grade. That's the nation's capital. That's D.C. That's where the high government is in the United States of America, right? The White House, the pale face house. Of course, that would be where all of the wickedness comes from. The major LGBT push comes from the pale-faced man. Period. We can't never let him off the hook. See, that's what they don't like about me. That's what they despise about me, is I never let them off the hook. I've never let them off the hook in all these years. I've always taught that it's the pale-faced man that pushes the homosexual agenda. And now they're pushing the transgender agenda pretty rough, pretty hard. Let's go into a little bit of this. Now I'm gonna show you how it goes down in Joe Biden's administration. See, Joe Biden is Barack Obama on steroids. Just the same type of administration that was pushing the LGBT community worldwide. Let me share my screen with you all so you can see. This is how they do it in the Joe Biden house, the cracker house. Let me show you this receipt here. Now, this creature here, last name is, it calls itself Rachel, I believe. Levine. That is to say this creature, this man is not a woman. This man is a so-called Jew. They have been running the most wicked operations in the world forever, but they're just mixed up cracklings. Some of them from Germany, you know. They're imposters. They've taken on another culture, and they claim that they're the chosen people of the Most High, living over in Israel. But they baking like biscuits over there, getting melanoma. They never talk about that. And a lot of organs that are trafficked go to Israel. Them vampire demons is over there eating organs, kidneys, livers, hearts, and we have the strongest of the organs. So just think about that, especially the Zionist Jew. These creatures are devilish on all types of levels. Jews are the ones who run the music industry. You see how gay hip-hop has become, rap has become. You see how raunchy and wicked rappers have become female so-called rappers, as well as male. You see the homosexual influences in R&B that have been going on for years. You hear about the casting couches and how these nasty freak demons have to lay down with you, have to take pictures of the incidents so that they have a receipt on you, so they can go somewhere and tell if you ever decide to run your mouth, if you ever decide to break your silence and go against the codes. They got something for you. And it's you, high, eating boo-boo, drinking blood, probably eating a child, getting screwed in the butt. Yeah, this is what they do because these pale faces are sick. They love feces. It's a delicacy for them. They eat it and then make other folks eat it in Hollywood. These people they're trash. Jews are behind the cameras all the time, showing all these raunchy movies, especially a white comedy. Get you a white comedy with Seth. I forgot his last MacFarlane, I think. No, I think that's on Family Guy. Uh, one of them cartoons. But it's a guy named Seth. I don't know if I can't think of his last name. He curly hair. Maybe a T-Rex, transgender. But anyway, any movie that creature plays in is going to have the most raunchiest, nastiest, gay innuendos all the time. Pale faces put their LGBT ways in their movies all the time. Jews are the ones who are behind the cameras, directing the movies, paying for the movies, fronting folks for the movies. Thought process correctly said. Yes, indeed, Brother Will. His name is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. It's a girl. Sounds like that could be very true. These people are flipped, inverted creatures. We've been fighting them ever since, I know, Genesis, the 6th chapter, where it talked about the giants that had mated with women. And it was them demons, them Nephilims, them pale-faced giant demons. And they started splicing genes up in their laboratories. And that was to make them smaller so they wouldn't be so easily detected as giants, because we were commanded to kill them on sight. In the Bible, if you read it, the creator of the Old Testament said, basically, we supposed to took them out on sight. We've been fighting these devils for thousands of years. A lot of things haven't been revealed that's going to be revealed now in the age of knowing, which is the age of the Aquarius, which is the age that we're in right now. But they were splicing so many genes, and they finally found a way to make themselves smaller so they could blend in among us. But you have to watch the ways of the Nephilim. And their ways is that they don't worship the creator that we worship or that we think is a creator. They worship the Baphomet goat god. That's why they flip their kids. They give their children hormone blockers and things of that nature. Oh yeah, pale faces are good at that, giving their children hormone blockers to make them grow up to be the opposite so-called sex. Let's show another video. Hopefully they won't give me a copyright strike in this video. Usually they've been giving me copyright strikes. This is fair use, YouTube. Don't even play that copyright strike nonsense. Fair use. Now I'm gonna share my screen with you all, family, right quick. I want y'all to check this video out. Then we're gonna get off into what Joe Biden's administration is saying about breastfeeding These are the transhumanists that want transgenders to be brought to the forefront, that are at the same time pushing the vac or the shot on the people. At the same time, it's these LGBT demonic energies through these pale faces that's pushing the transhumanistic transgender movement and these shots all simultaneously. Pay attention to who's doing it to you. Now check this out. This is fair use, YouTube. Don't give me no copyright nonsense. This is not copyrighted. Stop lying. This ain't no copyrighted video.
9, 8.
So they never talk about those who
So the
get
Lord
that
God caused the man to
transgender
fall into a
surgery
deep sleep.
that hate
And while
the
he was
fact that they
sleeping,
got it afterwards. But
he
check
took
this
one of the
video.
man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh.
7, 6, 5, 4.
I was born a male. I started living as a female when I was 19 years old, had a sex change when I was 30 years old. I've now been living as a woman for 28 years, and I fully regret this.
Nobody can change genders. It's impossible. It's delusional. It's a mental illness.
Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man.
Once I finally had the surgery, I went, oh, this was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do to cut off my male anatomy.
The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh."
The fact of the matter is that 40% of people who are attempting suicide are people who regret ever changing genders.
Lift off, Falcon 9.
Yeah, I want my sex back. They never talk about these folks. They want to make us think that everybody that gets the sex change is happy.
I'm for right there around 4
No.
o'clock. I have to get up.
Please, brother,
But
tell.
usually I wake up beforehand. It's as though God just wakes me up. I read the Bible, and then I pray, and then I try to be still and listen for His voice, His guidance. Hi, my name is Billy Burley. I'm living here in Lompoc in this house, and I used to work for NASA. Y'all come on in, and let me show y'all around the house a little bit. So the weather over here in Lompoc is exceptional. We don't have air conditioning over here, and so we keep the doors and windows open for a good bit throughout the year. I was a skinny little introverted kid. Had a speech impediment and tried to talk, but a lot of people didn't understand me. My body told me that I belong with the boys, but my thoughts, my mind was saying that I belonged with the girls. And I didn't know which way to go. Wanted to be like my sisters. I thought I should be like my sisters. And when my older sister started wearing makeup, I started playing with some of her makeup in the bathroom. And then in the 6th grade, when I was on the summer league swim team, and we had a new diving coach. Well, what he would do is, when he had a chance, he would play with me. He would fondle me. And try to get me to have an erection and just continue to play with me. Carmelli, I'm gonna have to shut you into a room. Can we pause for just a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Come on, Carmel. Let's get you into a room back here. You are gonna keep moving around. Come on.
Quiet, bad dog, bad dog. Hold one moment. I will try to silence the dog. Dottie, Dottie, go lay down, lay down. Go lay down. First off, my name is Renee Jack, and I'm an author. I've written 8 books so far, 3 of them to do with transsexuality. I was born male, grew up in a very conservative Republican family. My father was pretty much absent most of my childhood. He was an alcoholic. My mother was mentally ill. The childhood was so troubled and so traumatic that in retrospect, I was able to look at it and realize that there was no way I was getting out of childhood normal. You go and you take a shower and you're there to get clean, but every time I had to take off my clothes, every time I went to bathe, you know, there's no getting around the fact that I wasn't a girl, that I was a boy. And that really is the one memory that sticks out, is just how much I hate my penis, hated my penis. By the time I left high school, when I was 18, I was cross-dressing most of the time once I was away from school. And a couple years afterwards, I ended up in San Francisco, which had a very small gay community. And I had made the decision by the time I was about 20 to start living full time as a girl. When you start dating people, and if you pass well enough, the whole purpose is, are you a transsexual or are you a woman? And in my mind, I was always a woman. I'm wanting to date, and I'm not telling the men that I'm dating that I have. What y'all think, family? Type something in the chat. Find out, know what you think. Violent. There were a couple instances where I was beaten very badly.
I'm Miro Georgeowicz. I'm a surgeon and urologist, and I'm a leader of Belgrade Center for Genital Reconstructive Urology. Our center is very well known, especially for transgender surgery, and we perform all types of transgender surgery, male to female, female to male, performing surgery with possible complications. They love that. And one of the they love to cut you up, slice you up, actual now reversal make you surgery something different. Or try regretful after another way in transgender transformation. We try always to make your genitalia to be first very functional and then to be more acceptable in aesthetical view. If you discuss about male to female, our results are much better. Why? Because in one surgery we create a completely normal female genitalias, and this person they are have sexual intercourse, can enjoy in sexual activity. According to our experience, more than 90%. Transgender surgery starts to be very popular for both persons and doctors, and you can find too many jokes on this field. Oh, I'm going to make my genitalia to be different now, and I will be a very nice lady, or I will be a very strong man, or something like this. And after that, after some event like that's right, Philip and Linda, drug abuse or something like this, you're away from us. You should get a new genitalia.
The main milestone was finding a doctor who would give me the hormones. If I get the hormones, female cross-sex hormones, my life will be perfect. And then you think, well, if I can only get my voice, get my male voice up here, then that'll make me, just happy. And then you think, the next thing is, well, if I can get breast implants, that's all I need. It's never enough. And finally, if you've gone through the therapy and you can convince a doctor to start cutting on you, you go and you have a sex change. I had my sex change in 1990. And in the back of my mind, I thought it might be like all the other stuff I had done, but I was hoping that would make me feel complete.
I don't want to get in there. So why would you tell your neighbor that you did something that was so stupid? It's absolutely ridiculous to tell a neighbor, hey, I was a transgender and I've detransitioned. Pretty embarrassing to go through a gender change, to be that stupid, to believe that you can actually change genders. You got to be pretty ill equipped to handle the truth.
Come on in, family.
Born in
Maybe
Los
some
Angeles, a
transgenders
terrific
want to come
family,
on
good
in.
people. I was taken to my grandmother's house quite frequently, as my parents like to go away on the weekend. They like to camp and fish. I somehow became interested at my grandma's house in cross-dressing, and I had mentioned something to her about that. So she decided to make me a purple dress and allow me to put it on and wear the dress. I finally got so interested and excited about wearing the dress that I got tired of waiting till I was going to go to grandma's house to secretly cross-dress. So I snuck the dress home. Well, my mom found the dress. And so then dad got upset. I was never allowed to go to grandma's house again. The first step was I changed my name secretly when I was about 13 years old to Crystal. Probably in my late 20s, I started to talk to doctors about hormone therapy, and I began to take hormone therapy. 35 years ago, there wasn't much information, and we concluded that based on everything that was available at the time, that undergoing hormone therapy, further hormone therapy, and gender reassignment surgery would be the answer to resolve this, quote, gender identity disorder. That's when in April of 1983, I underwent the gender reassignment surgery by Dr. Biber in Trinidad, Colorado. It was amazing. I felt like the world had been lifted from my shoulders, and it was all really wonderful. The only thing I don't know is, was it all the medication from 5 hours of surgery that made me feel this way, or was it
That's right,
because
Valerie.
I'd gone through the surgery? Because you're pretty heavily medicated. My
Peace, Brother Jay.
female name at the time was Laura Jensen.
Lompoc is a nice town. It's quiet and it's small. I was a little bit apprehensive going into surgery, but also a little excited too. Finally, we're at this point. And after going into surgery and then coming out of surgery and being in the elevator, I asked somebody, is it gone? And they assured me that it was gone. And I was very relieved. I was losing a lot of blood through the surgical site. What they did was kept putting gauze into my new vagina, but I was excited. I was excited that finally this is done. This is now behind me. So now I'm starting my new life.
I never had the full ability to have intercourse because the vagina that they make is so small. So anytime I tried to have intercourse, it was extremely painful and it wouldn't happen. So these surgeries are nothing more than plastic surgery. They don't create, the phalluses that they create for female to males are really hideous looking. I've had several female to male friends, and you look at it and you just go, oh God, you paid for that. It's horrible. The sex change didn't solve my discomfort. The doctors who are honest will say that the gender dysphoria is always there. And it's because the confusion is, it's not so much, it starts out being about your anatomy, but really what you don't like yourself.
Right. It's self-hate. And this is how pale faces show their self-hate. They got plenty of it.
Being a freak in society, being, I call it in my book, a social pariah, is not the way you want to live. The isolation drives you to despair. And so, yeah, suicide is a big, big thing.
Maybe you can remember exact day when you thought about committing suicide, and how did you stop yourself?
Yesterday, I don't know. The first time was right before the surgery in 1990. And the only thing that kept me from doing it, quite honest, is I'm a coward at heart.
Just was so deeply disturbed at the time. I wanted to end my life, and somebody I knew had some cocaine, so I attempted to use it to kill myself, and it obviously didn't work. But my heart was pounding so hard after I took it that I thought it was going to come out of my chest.
Good evening, Infinite Piper.
I feel safer having done that and not staying in one place very long where people might find out what I do and who I am. I don't want people to know that are around me. I don't want to be outed by the people around me. I was leaving church one day on Sunday 3-4 years ago now, and I got an email that said, "I'm ready to commit suicide. Can you help me?" And it was a transgender who had lived the transgender life for 2 or 3 years and was totally discouraged with it. I was actually exchanging information and talking with him on some level up to 5 times a day to keep him from committing suicide. He eventually restored his life. He detransitioned back. This is my entire office right here. My computer, my desk, my chair, my slippers, and this is where I sit and work. I don't need any more than this. Everything that I do is right here on the computer or on the phone talking to people. I've detransitioned now for 25 years, a little longer. And so it was when I detransitioned that everything began to make sense to me. And when I realized that how important it was to detransition to become psychologically, emotionally, and socially a healthy person, that I wanted others who wanted to detransition to have a way to come back to that same experience that I have. And if they have regret and want to detransition, I've built a website for them, sexchangeregret.com. How are you?
Doing good today. Doing good. How about you and KC?
Yeah, we're doing good. Billy contacted me by email like most people do, and we began to exchange information, and I talked to him on the phone. His story was just like mine. He was sexually abused. I was sexually abused, and that was kind of the trigger point of changing genders.
Come on, kid. Come on, come get your clothes on. Come on. Come on, buddy. 7 years after transitioning to a woman, I started thinking, okay, I've been doing this for 7 years now. My problems should have gone away by now, but they hadn't. And I actually had more problems at that point. Another problem is just trying to pass. Trying to do my hair just right, trying to do my makeup just right, trying to look just right to where people would not be uncomfortable, because you can see when people identify you as being transgender. I was like, this isn't life. Nothing has really changed. I'm still struggling. I was better off as I was before the surgery, before the hormone treatment. So it was at that point, 5 years after the surgery, thereabouts, that I started to have thoughts about changing back. That's my student ID from LSU. That's when I was swimming at LSU. I had a really big Adam's apple, heavy brow ridge, pretty big jaw, This is the ID after I had SRS surgery. And then when I was transitioning back to male in Louisiana, that's the driver's license I got. I had a lot of other pictures from that period, but one day when I was sitting in my office looking at the pictures of me back during this 7-year period, 7-8 years as being female, it was so discouraging that I wasted so much of my life in this particular period doing all of this, that just in the state that I was in, I erased all of the pictures that I had off of the computer and destroyed the pictures of me from that period to try to erase that period in my life. With God's help, I went through the change and I went back to being male. So I went through that surgery, and on the backside of it, I was in so much pain and so much discomfort.
I agree,
I
Valerie.
regretted that surgery more than the first SRS surgery that I had. And then when he took the bandages off of my stomach to show me the skin graft, I was almost horrified at it. To me, it was gross. But it was by that surgery and the paperwork that the surgeon gave me saying when I had the surgery done initially, he gave me the paperwork that said, okay, I've been surgically changed to male.
I'm 60 years old. There's no reason for me, after a lifetime of being in transition, to go and start living, dressing as a man anymore. There's no benefit in it. But there is a benefit in my standing before an audience of young kids in college who are considering this path and saying to them, okay, I'm the real deal. I started living as a woman when I was 20. I've lived 40 years of my life. I've had breast augmentation. I've had genital surgery. I've had 40 years of hormones. All of it has not made my life any better. It's never solved the problem. You break your left leg. You go into a doctor's office, and under the transsexual rule of medical treatment, they say, this is your new normal, and we're going to break your right leg too.
I think it's safe to say that when somebody has been cross-dressed and affirmed physically abused and sexually abused, that psychotherapy is the most needed therapy, not hormones and surgery.
Yeah, they psycho.
When I met
Psychotherapy,
Rachel,
they crazy
I was
as
already
hell.
legally a man again.
Wow. From a man to a so-called woman,
Hey, baby doll.
back to a
How's your
man
day?
again.
Her and her
In the
daughter
same
came over
goddamn
to
lifetime.
my house for a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting. And it was there that I first met her. And that was in 2010. And from there, I invited her for a coffee.
And I didn't know what that meant. So I asked one of my classmates, what does that mean? One of my younger classmates. So she said, well, that's a safe way for asking for a date or trying to meet up with somebody.
I shared with her my path and what had happened and how I was. And at that time, she said, okay, let's be friends.
We shared the same interests, like what I was saying. We both like doing, especially swimming, but triathlons. We liked hiking. I don't know. I know he will say he remembers one time we went on a hike and we sat down for a rest and on a bench, and I kind of sat close to him and put my head on his shoulder.
And it was at that point I knew our relationship was changing, and that it was okay for me to start pursuing Rachel in a romantic way. And I did.
These
Excellent.
people are just
You're good.
ball of confusion. Pale faces.
The intimacy between Rachel and me, with me being surgically altered, I cannot come to an orgasm. So Rachel and I, we enjoy intimacy.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Fresh air.
Fresh air is
How?
good. It is beautiful, and I'm praying for a little bit more rain because
Can't even get an
notice up
orgasm now.
here, the green is starting to turn back to brown.
He asked me pretty soon, after a few months, if I'd marry him. And I think I thought about it for not too long, maybe a week or two, and responded yes. My older daughter said it probably best is they wanted me to be happy.
And I knew I was going to change back, but the big moment came when I was praying, and the Lord Jesus appeared to me as a vision in the prayer, as though I could touch him, just like I could touch anybody here. And he came and reached down to me with his hands and picked me up and said, "You're now safe with me forever." And it was at that moment that my life changed in a split second.
Yep.
Look at this, I'm healthy. Many of the people who've gone through this before me are dead. They're alcoholics. They're still struggling with their identity, and I'm alive and well and healthy and married for 21 years to my wife.
Not I'm dead, he said.
That's redemption,
Alcoholics.
restoration, and I'm helping other people. What other thing that's better in life when you're reaching out and helping other people with their life?
To you, babe.
Oh,
I love you.
I love you.
Did you taste it?
That's kind of tough.
It is. But it's still pretty. It's still pretty tasty. I am so happy I am the way I am now. Even though I have problems, I have a choice to let my problems burden me, or to look up, to see each day as a beautiful day, and just to enjoy life. In his hands, he's got you and me, baby. In his hands, he's got you and me, baby. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
Wow. That's right, Brother Jay. It's the nature of these people. And here we are with this COVID vac, the mark of the beast, and these are the people who are in charge of pushing this vac on the world. The LGBT, transhumanistic, transgender, pale-faced Nephilim, demonic reptilian energies and spirits in the bodies of pale faces to the world. That's it. Wrapped up in a nutshell. That's what we're fighting and been fighting for thousands of years. Yeah. Gay vac. That's what they should call it. It's going to alter your DNA. This to have the message RNA that they're going to shoot into you, which goes to every cell and reprograms it. Now think about the people that's giving it to you. They have a T-Rex mind, a transgender mind. So if you don't end up sick and ill or dead, and you're alive, and you thrive with the shot, yeah, you're going to be more lenient toward the LGBT thought process. And you're going to be worshiping the image of the beast, which is their goat god, the Baphomet. Yeah, straight up. Now, let's get into one last thing here. I shared the link just in case somebody wanted to speak. A lot of times people don't come on. And I understand that, I guess that means I'm thoroughly getting the message out. But if you want to come on, I shared the link. I'm going to share it one more time before I share this last page with y'all. This is for anybody who wants to come into the video itself and you want to speak your piece. There it is. You can do so. You want to travel abroad. Evacuation Montreal. Excavation Montreal. Well, I think there are some exemptions. I don't know if they're going to work. But if the exemptions don't work and you use that option, I don't know how you're going to travel if you don't want the jab. And who says that traveling is that important at this time? I mean, I don't know what you do with your traveling, if you're making money or whatever. But right now, the world is being controlled by the powers that be. And the agenda is depopulation. So the world is changing drastically. And they're moving in that direction of locking down and stopping travel. So travel for many of us may come to a screeching halt very shortly and may never be the same, especially if some of these people start turning into zombies. Now we're going to have a whole nother situation if that happens. So you may be able to travel with an exemption, but if you can't get an exemption and they say you can't travel without the shot, then you're left with the choice that you have to make. And each person has their own free will. So you can choose to get the shot to travel, but you can still get COVID while you're traveling. As a matter of fact, they're going to put it in you because the virus is the shot. So you're going to get the shot or the virus, which is the shot, just so you can travel. And when you travel abroad, once you get the shot, which is the virus, now wherever you are, you're going to be spreading it to the people there. So because you're going to become a super spreader of the shot. So you may, if you care about people that you're traveling to see, you may want to think about that. Because you'd be the last person they really want to see or need to see if you got that shot and you're now a super spreader. Because you're going to make all your loved ones in any other area sick as hell. But again, free will is there for every person to make their own choices. So it's up to you. Excavation Montreal. And if you still want to buy my music, $25 in the cash app gets you the whole collection. Or PayPal. They're mandating most of New York, correct? What's your suggestion to teachers, nurses, and other professionals that are mandated to get the vax? It's their free will. Everybody has free will. That's the beauty of the world. You have the right, if you want, to take the mark of the beast, because that's exactly what it is. I would tell those people who are so-called professionals, nurses, doctors, teachers, you got into these professions because a lot of times they pay good, and we've been taught to get a job that pays you some good money so you can take care of your family and live a little better. But you have to understand all the choices for jobs have been given to us by people that are now killing us off. They benefited when we became nurses, teachers, doctors, lawyers. The system benefited, but the system has always been a corrupt system pushing toward this day of eliminating humanity. So all of us have been deceived in this illusion in America. It's a big illusion. Doctors, nurses, let's just take those. Doctors and nurses every day prescribe medicine. They spell it medicine, but it's medicine. They prescribe synthetic drugs for natural bodies that do not heal anything. They make you worse, or they may cause something that you need another so-called medicine for. The medical industrial complex is not about healing. I don't even know why they use the word health. It's not about health. It's never been about health. So doctors and nurses, again, they're some of the ones who are out here helping to kill the masses off. And they've been doing it for years. Most of the nurses, they don't know, and doctors either, they can't go in the forest and find any plants, identify any natural plant that will really help the body heal itself. But they can tell you what kind of drug and how many milligrams you need. So they're not as beneficial as we've been made to think they are. The natural paths have been being killed off by those who don't want us to follow the natural medicines, because once you start with the natural and you start getting healed, they can't make any more money. The medical industrial complex is about making money. They keep building hospitals, making them bigger. You know, you got cable up in there, you can flip the channels. They want you to be comfortable to sit up in there so they can cut on you, draw your damn blood out every day, and come in there 4, 5 times, 6, 7 times a damn day. You can't sleep. They want to draw all this blood. Where the blood going? Can the nurses and doctors tell us what happens with the blood after they sample it? Is somebody back there drinking it? Doctors and nurses have been in the profession that hasn't really benefited us as a whole. Lawyers, teachers too. Teachers have been in a profession where they lie to children all the time. There's no Santa Claus. There was no happiness between the so-called Pilgrim and Indian. But every year, the teachers that are in grade school, they reinforce those lies. They don't say nothing to the children. They don't come and tell the actual truth. So to a certain extent, teachers are liars. They're deceivers for the system. And have been that way for years. They teach what's in the textbooks. And if they go against that and teach the real deal and the real truth, especially about the history of this land, and tell the children that this land belongs to us, and tell the children that pale faces are demons, there it goes your teaching job. You're only allowed to teach what the pale-faced devil tells you. All these jobs have been put out here, and you can only get those jobs if you're going to do what they say. if you're going to follow along with the program. A job is nothing but something to persecute you. You earn a living, and you may end up in an urn after you earn a living for 30, 40 years working for somebody. You may end up in an urn because you earned a living. The best thing we can do, and we should have never left learning how to farm, learning how to uh, dig and tap wells, learning how to create our own electricity, learning how to deal with our own natural gas. We should have never left those things, being self-sufficient, because you need in this land shelter, water, food, and you need to be able to control your own water and your own food. Because we got LGBT demons controlling the food. And now look, Bill Gates, who's opened up the gates of hell and told that we're not going to be able to go Lacona Empire. I'm going to let you in a second. Thank you. We're not going to be able to go back to normal until what? Until everybody's given a shot. This little whatever Bill Gates is always doing his fingers is like whatever that creature is. It's now bought up the majority of the farmland in America and thinks that people should be eating GMO steaks, genetically modified meats. And the USDA is being ran now by the leader or the top man in Monsanto. And that's all they grow is GMO food. So look where these people have led us since we have gotten away from farming for ourselves and going to the store to buy food. Why do we go? It really looks crazy when we have to go in the store to buy produce when we got ground we could be planting. The churches have gotten away from it. The pastors don't have land really for the most part. We got away from basic living to get this education and to move out into the suburbs and away from the rest of the darkies. We've been duped, and now we're here needing a place to go in the wilderness. And we've gotten so far from that until trying to get to that is going to force a lot of us to realize we're not prepared, and you're just going to go get the shot because you just want things to be so-called normal. But it's never been normal to have another nation controlling your life. Let me let Brother Lacuna in. Peace, my brother, Lacuna Empire. You are here on another episode of the Yaj Real Hour with Brother Dawa. State your case.
Pick up yourself, bro. Great, excellent work. You know, you're doing a great job. I mean, you touched on several points, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, you know, we've gone away, or we've been led astray, do things which we naturally was able to do for ourselves. You know, to be self-sufficient. I mean, in the islands, for example, when I went back home in 2018, you know, I'm born and raised in England, so the way of living over here in England is very different. I mean, in England, they don't really have food. They don't really farm over here. Nothing really grows over here in England. So the majority of food they have over here in England is import and export. So it's crazy. But when I went back home, I noticed that, you know, the things they're touching on about, you know, farming and stuff, we still do that. That still is key. That still is king, you know, farming your own food, you know, having your own resources at your disposal. You know, it was crazy to me that, you know, if I wanted apples or anything like that, watermelons or cassava, starfruit, jackfruit, all these things in the back garden, you know, I'd have to pay for these things. even though they have these things in like the market and stuff where they sell them. But I noticed that my family would actually, if they wanted money, quick money, they would actually pick stuff from the garden and go down to the market areas and sell them to make money. I was like, wow, this is crazy to me. You know, in England, it's
Wow.
not. You don't get that. You don't get that. I mean, in England, you don't have no farming skills. I mean, if you go to the country, you get that. But I mean, in London, in the central, it's the same thing like the States. Same thing. Supermarket, supermarket, supermarket. I mean, we don't do for self here because we're not really living the way we should. Because we're in a
Right.
foreign country. I mean, back home, we still build our own houses and stuff like that. I mean, we don't really pay for houses. Yeah, we can, but you know, people have their own family land, ancestral land they can build on, or they can buy houses or buy land and build in their own house. You know, we are brick masons. You know, constructions we do and stuff like that. Even went to the States. I've got family in Alabama and you know Atlanta, and they still do the same thing. You know, as back home. You know, and I noticed that majority of brothers and sisters in the States, you know, when I was moving up and down and around, because my family showed me, you know, what's America really like and stuff like that. I noticed that majority of the people don't really farm, and it's crazy to me. I mean, they have the land because I've seen family members got land and people have land out there, but they don't really farm. They may grow like flowers and stuff like that, but nothing like growing their own food and their own produce. I mean, this is what is key for us for our survival. Like you said, GMO foods. I know that it's a big factor in the States that people have GMO foods. I was like, that's crazy, you know, a natural food,
Very.
a natural food like seedless grapes and seedless watermelons. That's ridiculous, man.
Right.
You know, it's ridiculous. We've moved away from way of doing things. Obviously, because of the education system, like you touched on, the education that really teach children their basic skills for life. You know what they need to do to prosper in these things that carry them out into the world. They teach stuff like education, but the education system is failing them in so many
Mm-hmm.
aspects. You know, they don't teach the children history, the real history, like you were touching on about Americas and stuff like that. Even here in England, we don't get taught stuff like that. I mean, all the shit is about slavery and the white man and these type of things. And I touched on certain things before when I came on your platform. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it really has took a hold on our people. Like you said, in the States, people will be left stranded because they've gone away from doing stuff from the self, doing stuff for self. I know, like in the 70s and maybe 80s, people was farming and stuff, but now they don't farm anymore. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe you could help me with that question. Why don't brothers and sisters farm anymore like they used to? I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, it's not hard. Maybe because it's more accessible or more easier for them to go to the supermarket than farming.
Hmm.
You know, it's there's so many things been taken away from, you know, because we've tried to do things like foreigners, which is not benefiting our people. You know, people are wanting to take their vaccination or the Android 19, what I call it. I call it Android 19. I don't call it vaccination and these
Hmm.
Android 19 because there's a robot. They don't tell
Right.
people. they don't inform people about
Android
the
19.
vaccination.
Yes, indeed. You will not be human anymore. You will be AI.
Yes, I mean they're not
Wow.
informing. They're not informing people what's in the Android 19. There's a
That's
big
right.
thing over here. People are protesting regarding that as well. People are aware now what's going on with population control and trying to erase indigenous people or erase everybody really by Bill Gates and all these corporations, these governments that's all tied in. People are starting to wake up now. That's a good thing. You know,
Yes.
this thing has actually caused people to wake up and think for themselves. Whereas
Yes.
before, you know, they
Facts.
stuck on stupid, believing what the government said is true. Like the government will never lie to them. Like the government has never lied to them before. You know, I mean, this is bringing people into a reality check. That you know you've been led astray for so long. You know you barely know how to do stuff for yourself anymore, which is a shame. But I mean, there's ways of doing things. I mean, this is a good thing for our people anyway, as well as a negative thing. I mean, I look at the plus and the negatives together, and I say, yes, the positive things is this lockdown has taught people so many things. You know, just regarding anything. You know, everything's accessible now. Everything's online, so all the information regarding Android 19 is online now, and people are exposing it for what it is. People are talking about history. History is there now. It's been exposed, and everything's up there now. So not really hiding anything. Just people just need to know where to look for it. You know, where to access certain things that's going to help them and going to free them and stuff like that. So it's a good thing that this has happened. In a sense, it wakes people up to see the real world for what it really is. You know, there's so many things I could say. There's so many things I could say regarding this, man. It's come to a point where people are forced to be putting their backs against the corner. What are you gonna do next? You know, are people really gonna take the Android 19 because people are saying that, you know, they've been pressed for jobs and these type of thing where they have to take their vaccination. Not that they don't have to do it, because nobody's forcing nobody to do anything. It's all a free choice, free will. Some people are scared because of the fair tactics being played, because they keep watching, you know, the radio or the media and these type of things, scaring people. But I mean, information is out there now, so nobody's got any excuse where they can't know anything or shouldn't know anything, because everything is accessible at their fingertips. I mean, people may use the social media thing for the wrong things, but then again, people use it for the right things. So it's always a balance. It's just what people choose to do with the information, you know?
Facts, brother.
I mean, at the end of the day, we can't save everybody. That's just reality, isn't it? Some people are some people will be lost. Either you sink or swim nowadays. You got to sink or you swim. So my message to people that you got to wake up, man. You got to wake up, because this is a serious game. You know, even people that have took the vaccination, people are dying. They're not talked about, but I mean, over here in England, people have been. Well, one of my associates that I know, his friend, mother took the vaccination like last week, Friday, in the morning, and then in the evening she died. Wow. She died. You know. So I mean, we're in trouble. We're in troublesome times. People think it's all games. People think to go back to normal. There's never been normal. You keep telling you lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. Oh, things will get back to normal. No, I'm telling people, if you don't get the vaccination, you won't be able to travel on these type of things. A vaccination passport. If you want to go to the club or nightclub or to the pub, you need vaccination. These type of things. And these things, you know, these things are part of scare tactics. So people will run out here and take their corona, shot on these type of things, not informed what's really in it and these type of things, and they will get what the duck get. They will get, you know, lose their life, and they can't sue because, you know, the experiment, like the Tuskegee experiment and so many other experiments they did on indigenous people. So people just gotta know that it's a very serious time. Even if you take the shot and you're okay, you know, and you don't pass away, it can make you sterile. People need to know that, you know. And if a woman's pregnant, you know, and she takes the shot, you know, it'll pass down to her baby. That means her baby will be sterile. Her baby won't be able to reduce. So part of population control. People need to know this is very serious. It's not a joke. It's a game. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's very serious times we're in. People think, oh, party and stuff like. No. Do you realize if you're around people take the vaccination, it can spread that way. There's reports coming out saying, people who take the vaccination, the Android 19, they're a danger to the public who haven't took it.
Yes, facts.
You know,
super spreaders. That's what they are.
Yeah.
I see you, Infinite Pipe. I'm gonna let you in a second.
So people just need to wake up and see the truth for what it really is, man. These governments don't mean our people no good at all. You know,
at all.
Exactly. Not at all. So people just need to wake up and see this is a reality check. And all the things we've been talked about, or people shed light on about the mark of the beast and this and that. This is right now. This is at your doorstep. You know.
Right.
So what are you going to do? Well, people need to study law and these type of things. Study law, do their genealogy and find out who their people are. And if they're indigenous to America, that means you have indigenous rights. You have indigenous rights. That means you're protected. Because people don't study law and these type of things, they don't know the meaning of words and these type of things. This is what gets our people into trouble.
Right.
So people need to do the footwork, man. The footwork. I mean, we're in troublesome times. We're in troublesome time. Things will never return back to normal. What do you think? What is normal? Working 9 to 5. That's not work. That's not normal.
Right.
Yeah, but thanks though, man. Thanks though. I'll go on mute now. I'll wait for Infinity to pipe on. And then if I have anything more to offer, I'll come back on doing it.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. You have a great night. Thank you for your input.
You too, man.
Well taken, well spoken.
Thank you.
All right, my brother. All right, Sister Infinite Piper, you are here on another episode of the Yah's Real Hour, speaking with Brother Dawah. State your case.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm great. Can you hear me pretty good?
Oh, yeah. Got
Okay.
you. Go ahead.
Yeah, first thing I wanted to comment on is the documentary that you showed. I actually had seen that a few years ago when they had, it was basically, to shed light on, the people that had the regrets. And of course, now they don't really want that to be shown. So yeah, I've seen that. And then I had opened my first I opened a clothing store back in '96 because I'm actually a fashion designer. And I used to get, of course, I grew up around, when I was younger, I didn't grow up around drag queens. But when we moved into Dallas, I grew up in a little area called Lancaster, Texas. And, you knew it was people that were gay. They kind of stuck to themselves, the gay community. But everybody knew somebody was gay. And so, but when we moved into the Dallas area, we moved next door to this guy and we became really, really cool. We were the same age. And he was a drag queen. And he used to dress up like Natalie Cole. He used to get dressed and he had these other drag queens that he hung out with and they used to go out and hang out. So I was used to being around drag queens. I knew drag queens. But when I had my clothing store in Dallas, I used to get like guys would come in my store and it would be a white man, and he'd come in there and he's dressed professional and everything, and you would never ever suspect it. But he would be looking around on the clothing racks, looking at the clothes, because I made everything in my store. And I would be like, I guess he was trying to feel me out to see how I was going to respond to him. And this happened on several occasions. And I was like, are you looking for anything in particular? And he would just tell me later, after he felt comfortable with me, that he was a cross-dresser, that his wife was out of town. And when his wife would go out of town, he would cross-dress. And I got that a lot of times, but it was never anybody, black guys to do it, because the gay guys, they were just gay, but they didn't get to come in my store and try on my clothes. He could not try on my clothes because he was too big. But and then a couple of times, one came in who had his own clothes. He had a bra in the bag. He was just, maybe he just wanted someone to see him dressed up like a woman. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing, because you look at these guys and they look like business professional, and then he's in the store and I'm thinking he's like, what does she like? Or, because I had that kind of boutique. And man, then he would say it wasn't for his wife. He was looking for something for him because he dressed. And I think it was more that, like, he just wanted someone to know, you know what I'm saying, that he was a cross-dresser. And I would be like, wow. I was like really shocked the first few times it happened, but I learned that thereafter that's what it was. But now I want to hop on the subject about the shot or whatever it is that they're trying to push off on people. First of all, with all of these mandates that they're trying to roll out. You know, people say, well, I've been on this job for so long and I can't quit my job. Truth of the matter is you can, because when you think that you are just your body, then you'll go take that vaccine because you want to continue to conform to what society had, you know, to the ideas of what the society that makes up this culture. You don't have to take that vaccine.
Right.
People are taking it because they're caught up in this materialism. And you can, and I made a comment in the chat, you know, start your own business. And someone said, you know, that's not common sense. Oftentimes I don't even comment in chats because I don't even get in chats because people don't know how to agree to disagree. And the thing is, you can start your own business. Everyone has some type of skill. You have to believe in yourself. And more than anything now, you're going to have to. I've always had my own business. And last year, I started gardening. And because I saw where all of this was going, I didn't want to wear a mask in a store. And I didn't want their food anyway because I'm a pretty health conscious person. And I started growing my own food, started learning. I watched a lot of videos on, I mean, we had a garden growing up. There really was no educational aspect of it. We just had a garden, go in the backyard, help my mom. But, you know, I'm growing my own food. I have a distiller, so I'll have clean water. Yes, you can, because nothing is going back to the way it was. Although nothing ever goes back to the way that it used to be. We have to learn how to be self-sufficient because we are in a situation, all people should recognize this, that these people have positioned themselves in our governments, in our law enforcement, and now they feel like they're going to run with whatever. They're not going to call any of this off. They're not going to retract. They have all these big companies are all on board because it is so irresponsible. If anybody can't, and the brother kept saying people need to wake up. At this point in time, if you're not aware, you're going down. And when you look at, if you drive by, I don't know if you guys have CVS's there, Kroger stores. We have Tom Thumbs, and Kroger is a Smith brand. But let me tell you something. When I look and see how CVS is promoting these vaccines and the big corporations, these big anchor grocery stores, how they promote this, and they know this is a trial. This thing hasn't even been approved. Can't people not see the seriousness of this? And they're all pushing this. It's not even approved because it was never meant to be a vaccine anyway. They're just lying to the public because they're trying to take us into a cashless society. And I'm not sure how far they'll be able to take us, but just pay attention. This is a trial, and the public is being used as guinea pigs. And if you can't see the CVS's, the big stores, all these big businesses, the airlines, the football, NFL, all of these people are all in on it. You know, they're all in on it, and you can't see that it's something serious coming down the pipeline. If you're not aware, at this point, you're just going down. You're going under. There's food shortages already. If people don't prepare themselves, I don't know how much time you really have. And right. I don't feel like they're going to defeat us. I personally don't feel like they're going to defeat us. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be a loss of life, and a lot of loss of life, because I personally don't feel like they got as many people vaccinated as they wanted, because they're pushing too hard off. And it's such an insult offering people donuts, French fries, entering into lotteries. Isn't that sad?
Gift certificates, $25 gift certificates, Walmart and all that craziness.
And Tom Thumb giving their employees $100. I'm not even, man, I'm weaning myself completely off the system. And a lot of people may not agree with this, what I'm about to say, but this is the best thing that could ever happen in so many ways, because people are tired. I am tired of a few people telling me how I'm going to live my life, telling me if I can come outside, if I can, whatever. I'm sick and tired of a few people in Washington, D.C. dictating to the world how they're going to live. So to me, get your children out of the school system. Look, teach them at home. Why? I don't even understand why people are fighting to put their children in schools. Take them out. They don't do nothing they don't do nothing but lie to them. And then you don't even have enough sense to deprogram them when they come home. It's just like people don't want to assume responsibility for their life. Nobody is coming for us. Nobody.
Right.
Every person is on their own right now. And like I said, when I look at this and I'm riding around and I'm looking and I'm like, look at this. And people can't see it. And I don't have to fly. I don't have to go nowhere. You know, you're not going to vaccinate. You're not even going to test me. So, you know, if you that busy, you got that much going on that you're going to compromise yourself and put yourself in the system, you know, put yourself in a position where you're going to be harmed. These people are sitting up on TV lying, bald-faced lying. And you know how the public is so dumbed down that they're getting away with it.
Right.
So you can start your own business. It's something you can do. You know, there's a lot of companies you can work from home if you want to work from home, but you should consider becoming self-sufficient, because personally, I feel like the best system, all of these monetary systems are crap. They're going to crash them anyway. But if you have a skill, and did you say you're a welder? Is that what you are, Brother Katoa?
Yeah, I'm a welder by trade.
You will always have a job. There will always be a need, and probably even more so now. And so I think bartering is the best way. I think all of this is going to push us to where we need to be as beings in this society. Because
yeah, I think that it's going to push some of us inward. And we're going to push all the outward nonsense away and realize we have the skill to survive. Because really, that's the only important thing it is right now. You could have 4 or 5 businesses, but they're still going to come through with these COVID-19 restrictions on all business eventually. So when you go inward and you learn that you need to survive, and you start doing things, will just start coming. They'll just start coming. When you become one with nature or the Creator. That's all the Creator really is to me. Is lining us up with nature.
That's right, getting in tune with the truth.
So when you become in tune with nature, it's going to lead you on what you should do so you can survive. Because this right now is about surviving the game. You know, that's really what it's about, as far as I'm concerned.
But even if they come with the COVID restrictions, like I'm a designer, I'm a fashion designer. I have a skill that I can sew, I can do alterations, I can cook, I have a baking business. I mean, they're not going to be able to prevent us from not bartering and doing business with one another. Now, what will go away is that dollar bill. But
bingo, that's what I'm talking about. So
in a bartering society,
when the dollar bill goes away, which it's got to, it's an illusion. See, dollar bill is a piece of paper that came from trees. Now the pale face can take it. He can press out all of the paper or papyrus he wants to. And he can put his faces on it, and he gives it a value based on nothing, backed by nothing. But if you go and take the same trees and print some papyrus yourself, yours is counterfeit. And then he has authorities that will come and lock you up. It's an illusion. You can't take paper, which comes from wood, and really pay to live in a wooden house. How the hell are you paying to live in a wooden house or a house laid with bricks? All that comes from the earth, and all the resources come from the earth. So how can you take the resources of the earth, which is where the tree comes from as well, and then pay somebody for the natural resource? This is an illusion, and it must come to an end.
I agree. It is coming to an end.
Yeah, it's coming to an end. And these pale faces themselves are shutting their system down. But at the same time, they know they're done. They have nothing else they can offer on the planet. And they want to do everything they can to turn everybody else. Either you're going to die or you're going to go and become AI. They don't want to apologize. They don't want to be brought under any judgmental charges that they've been the problem on the planet. They're going to make everybody die off or become AI. It's like the movie State Property. You're going to get down or you're going to lay down. And this is the mentality of this wicked, satanic, LGBT, Baphomet worshiping paleface. This monetary system is a whole illusion. We got all this so-called paper money. It has no value.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Only the value he gave it.
Yeah, it doesn't have any value. It's a fiat currency.
Right. You can't take wood and pay for a wooden house. How do you pay? What is paying? What the hell does that mean? Well, you got to give me this much wood chips, which is called money, to live in this wooden house every month, rent or mortgage, or I'm going to put you out. Well, you got to take these wood chips and pay me for natural resources in the ground that we call water. That's always there. He just has the button to switch and turn it off when he gets ready. But if you turn it off, the damn water is still there in the pipes. So, I mean, it's got to be destroyed. This whole illusion of us taking his dollars, his wood that he says isn't counterfeit because he made it, and paying for resources, natural resources. We don't got to pay for electricity either. We can create our own electricity. True. And this is what we've gotten away from. The greatest people on the planet to me have been those who've canned their own foods, had their own source of water, had their own source of electricity. Those are what we call today preppers. But they've been living that way forever, so they're always good in a crisis time situation.
That's right. That's really the way to live, especially if you've been, and not because of this fake COVID. It's because that's the way you should want to live. You should live within your means. And, you know, that way it doesn't matter what they do because life is still going to move smooth for you. But that fiat currency is not money. Money is only silver and gold. Silver and gold is real money. That's the only way you can pay. Silver and gold is money. Your voice went away. Oh.
And that comes out of the ground.
It's a natural resource.
So, you know, you can't put a paper value on something that comes out of the ground because the tree comes out of the ground as well. We've been living a total illusion under this pale-faced man with this paper money fiat currency system that must come to an end in order for us to really be what we call free.
Yeah. And you're only free when you can live, when you can depend on yourself. And that's the only free you have, because someone could have great intentions to want to help you or to be of some aid to you, but something can happen to that person en route to you. And then if you cannot do what I wrote an article teaching you to be a selfie, that's self-sufficient, self-reliant, and you have to be everything to yourself. And all of these jobs, they're gone. They've been going away. I remember people used to think they had security when they worked for GM, and all of this stuff has moved on. And because people have gotten so caught up, I take my L's. But I've never really worked for anybody. I've always been self-sufficient, and I have all my life. I never wanted to work for anybody. I see so much. I value I don't even like to use the word value, but I hold myself to the highest standard. So I don't work for anybody. If I did, it was just for a minute, just to get some little traction. But I do my own thing, and there is nothing I can't do. And during this time, no one can stop you. If you set your attention on what it is that you want to do, not just remove all other thoughts. Trust me, the only person that'll stop you is you. No one can stop you, even in this current climate, because China is really running the world, really calling all the shots right now. So many people can't see it, but again, it takes an awareness. But they will never rule the world. They will never rule. They will not defeat us. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go through some tough times, but in the end, we will be victorious. Now, I can say that, and I know it. I'm not just saying it, but there's other people that have so much uncertainty, and that's what you have to work on. And like you said, you got to go inward. You got to go in and you got to deal with the true self, not the name that was given to you at birth. You got to deal with who and what you truly are. I don't know how much time you have to do it, because you know what? To get to know yourself, it takes some time. It takes time. And I have a little story that it's a little short thing that I tell people. And I know you always talk about this on your channel in regards to people waiting on the ancestors to come back to help them out and all these other things. And I said, so right now this event is getting ready to show people for what they really are. You know, you got your group they following some type of religious deity, you know, something. And so I said, you know, many of you don't even know God. You don't know whatever. Personally, I don't use the term. But I said, so say, for instance, I'm going to use a lady for an example. She got up one morning. She was going to work. And this is one of the days where they say when it rains, it pours. So she gets up to go outside. She goes to work. On her way to work, she gets to the office. She get a call. Her boyfriend or husband says, you know, he no longer want to be in a relationship with her. While she's on the phone, they let her know that she can't work there anymore because of her, whatever, not being her job performance. She walks outside to get in the car. When she gets outside to get to the car, her car is gone because it's been repossessed. So it's so much has hit her at one time. She's on the bus stop and she's crying. And somebody walks up to her at the bus stop and asks her why is she crying. Now, any other normal circumstance, she wouldn't talk to the person. But she turns around and she starts to interact with them. And she says, you know, telling them, I got up this morning and this happened and that happened. And when she says my boyfriend broke up with you, and then the other person said, the being that she's talking to says, oh, don't worry, you'll get another that you'll get somebody else. It'll be all right. And then she says, well, I lost my job when don't worry, you'll have another job. It'll be okay. And then I came outside and I'm like, oh, don't worry, you'll get a car. And then before she realizes that she looks up and she's like, who in the hell are you telling me this? I don't even know you. You don't know me. But that's symbolic of God in the presence of someone telling them all is going to be all right. And right now, if you can't trust yourself, that's your highest self telling you it's going to be all right. You're going to get another job. You're going to get another car. You're going to have a perfect place to live. See, you have to go in tune with yourself to know that the self-reliance is the only way to go. I tell that story because so many people want to run around here talking about how they're blessed and highly favored and all this stuff. And they're running and taking these shots and they're lost. And they say they got to take the shot because they got to keep their job. They got to take the shot because they don't want to get somebody sick in the family. They have no clue of who and what they really are. So that was the real self talking to the perceived self, the character that you have been parading around here, masquerading around here as whoever you know, whatever your name is. There's a higher self in all of us. And at this point in time, it's time to get connected with your higher self. And that's basically what I wanted to say. And when I say that, it's because you can depend on yourself. You have to get to know yourself. And you can't depend on yourself when you don't know who and what you really are. So anyway, I'll be quiet. I see you got another video.
Thank you so much for your input, Infinite Piper.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it.
All right, thank you. And I'll log off of here.
All right.
All right.
You have a good night.
You too.
Now, family, let me excavation Montreal. So that why you don't want to get a Lamborghini or a Porsche. I never liked either one of those cars. I don't give a damn about the white man's Lamborghinis and Porsches. No, I'm not concerned about his materialism. I want freedom. I don't want pale faces telling me what to do. So this is where my thought process is. Damn a Lamborghini, damn a Porsche. Both of them are ugly to me. I don't really like super fast cars that low to the ground anyway. Never have. I don't want a car note. I don't want to be trying to scrape up dollars for the pale face every month so that I can enjoy the ride of a Lamborghini or a Porsche. Not interested in none of that. I'm interested in the white man getting the hell up out of my face and stop trying to control everything I do. Now, here we go. The Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine suggests chest feeding. This is what I wanted. This gay administration of pale-faced men and women, they don't want the use of the word breastfeeding anymore. See how they're slowly removing women? They want to say chest feeding. What the hell is chest feeding? Both male and female have a chest, yes, but one chest, the female's chest, has breasts, whether they are large, medium, small, or little itty bitty. They can produce milk. They can produce milk. So the other chest, the male chest, no matter what you want to call it, won't be producing no milk no time soon. Computer's battery's getting low. But it won't be producing any milk anytime soon. This is what the pale-faced race wants to do. And even pale faces some of them are pissed off about this. And they're fighting their own people about this madness of getting rid of the word breastfeeding. Let's read the article. The Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine has issued guidelines that suggest employing such terms as chest feeding, human milk feeding, and parents' milk to promote what it calls gender inclusive language. The ABM, the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine, positions statement on infant feeding. They don't even want to say, infant feeding and lactation related language and gender, co-authored by 8 doctors. Getting a little sleepy, family. And the Academy said that the use of desexed or gender inclusive language is appropriate in many settings. Desexed language. ABM recognizes that not all people who give birth and lactate identify as female, and that some of these individuals identify as neither female or male. said the 4-page document posted on July 29th. Suggested gender inclusive terms for breastfeeding include chest feeding, lactating, expressing, pumping, human milk feeding. Alternatives for breast milk include milk, human milk, mother's own milk, parents' milk, father's milk. Language has power, said Dr. Laura Kerr, one of the authors and medical director of well-known care at UC Davis Children's Hospital, in a statement. Women should be totally outraged, especially our sisters. You should be totally outraged and upset. Well, I don't want to say upset because getting upset may alter your energy, may make you feel bad. But you should be on alert. I'll put it like that. You should know that this administration is pushing toward the getting rid of humans. It's all working at the same time. The transhumanism, transgender AI type of energy is all mixed together, and they're moving in unison. And they're moving in unison to get rid of women. Period. And what you bring to this planet. So I want to thank you all for coming, being with your brother for a couple of hours. It's been a great show as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for all your comments. Brother man, get you a sister. Sister, get you a brother. Drop the other, both of you. Y'all have a good night. Peace, Halito, and Shalom.